Good evening. At this time, I would like to call the April 18, 2017 meeting of the Yukon City Council to order. If you would rise for the invocation, by Pastor Tim Bear from Grace Church and remain standing for the flag salute, please.
Let us pray. Most holy and gracious God, we give you thanks for this day and for this Easter season. We ask that it would be one of hope and renewal for us and for our community. We thank you for all the blessings of this life and for the many ways that your grace has shined down upon us. We ask that you help us to use those blessings and that grace to benefit others. Please be with us in our council meeting tonight and give our city leaders wisdom as they discern and make decisions on our behalf. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Alberts.
Here.
McCarran.
Here.
Russell. Here. Smyslova. Yonda.
Here.
This evening we have a presentation of the Safety Enhancement Grant from Kip Pritchard from the Oklahoma Municipal Assurance Group. Mr. Pritchard, if you would come forward.
Okay, thank you. Can I stand right here, or you want me up there, or what?
You can stand wherever you are comfortable. I'll bring a mic.
Okay. Well, Mr. Mayor and fellow council members and city employees, thank you for allowing me on behalf of OMAG to come and speak to you this evening briefly. Just wanted to remind everybody, for 40 years, OMAG has been working with our municipalities to manage your risk. With the recent economic crunch and shrinking municipal budgets, OMAG is constantly looking for ways to assist you in your time of need. Our new Public Works Safety Equipment Grant is one way we're attempting to provide some relief to our municipalities. Often in these hard times, safety equipment is one of the first expenditures to be cut from a budget. With this in mind, OMAG developed the grant to keep municipal workers and citizens out of harm's way. Your city applied for one of these grants, and it's our great privilege to provide the city of Yukon with a cash award of $785 as a matching grant for purchasing a 4-gas meter and fresh air blowers to help protect workers as they go into confined spaces. Got this little big check. Thank you very much. And you got the real check right there. All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
This is the visitor section of the meeting. If there is someone that is here this evening that would like to address the council about a non-agenda item, if they would come forward to the podium, announce their presence.
Nothing to me.
Nothing this evening. Any visitors? Seeing none, at this time we will recess as the Yukon City Council and reconvene as the Yukon Municipal Authority. The first item is item 1A. This item is placed on the agenda so the Yukon Municipal Authority, by unanimous consent, can designate those routine items to be approved by one motion. If an item does not meet with approval of all authority members, that item will be heard in regular order. City manager recommends a motion to approve A, the minutes of the regular meeting of April the 4th, 2017. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
McCarran.
Yes.
Russell. Yes. Yonda.
Yes.
Alberts.
Yes. The next item is 2A. That's consider and approve resolution number YMA 2017-2, a resolution authorizing the issuance of the Yukon Municipal Authority 2017 revenue note in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $380,000, waiving competitive bidding and authorizing said revenue note to be sold at a price less than par value by negotiated sale within the limits of provided by Title 60 Oklahoma Statute Section 176, authorizing and approving documents, procedures, and payments related to the issuance of the revenue note, providing that the trust indenture shall be subject to the provisions of the revenue note, ratifying a lease agreement an operation and maintenance contract between the City of Yukon and the Yukon Municipal Authority, and agreeing that the terms of the lease shall extend so long as the revenue note remains outstanding and unpaid. Do I have a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll.
Yonda,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Alberts,
Yes.
Russell.
Yes.
At this time, we'll adjourn as YMA and reconvene as the Yukon City Council. The first item is the consent docket. This item is placed on the agenda so the City Council, by unanimous consent, can designate those routine items that wish to be approved by one motion, and if an item does not meet with the approval of all council members, that item will be heard in regular order. The city manager recommends a motion that will approve A, the minutes of the regular meeting of April the 4th, 2017, B, the payment of material claims in the amount of $405,169.27, C, designating the items on the attached list from the Technology Department as surplus and authorizing their sale, donation, or trade, and D, setting the date for the next regular council meeting for May the 2nd, 2017, 7 p.m. in the council chambers of the Centennial Building, 12 South 5th Street in Yukon, Oklahoma. A motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll.
Alberts,
Yes.
Yonda,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
McCarron.
Yes.
Item 2 is the reports of boards, commissions, and city official. City managers, what a report, please.
No reports this evening, sir.
The next item is 3. That's to consider approving resolution number 2017-3, a resolution authorizing the City of Yukon to guarantee a repayment of debt should the Yukon BMX Parents and Riders Association default on the loan for the purchase of a new safety starting gate at Lewis Carroll Taylor Park. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll.
McCarron,
Yes.
Alberts,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Yonda,
Yes.
Next item is 4, and that's considering entering into an agreement with the Yukon BMX Parents and Riders Association wherein the city guarantees the repayment of a loan in an amount not to exceed $15,000 if the Yukon BMX Parents and Riders Association should default on their loan. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll.
Russell,
Yes.
Alberts,
Yes.
Yonda,
Yes.
McCarron.
Yes.
Next item is item 5. John, do you want to help with this item? Is this the one that you need to read? It's the next one, item 6. Okay. Item 5 is consider approval of resolution number 17-4, a resolution approving the issuance of indebtedness by the Yukon Municipal Authority, issuing its 2017 revenue note in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $380,000, waiving competitive bidding and authorizing said note to be sold at a price less than note to be sold at a price less than par value by negotiating sale within the limits provided by Title 60 Oklahoma Statute Section 176, authorizing and approving a sales tax agreement, providing security for the revenue note, providing the trust indenture shall be subject to the provisions of the revenue note, ratification of the lease agreement, and operation and maintenance contract between the city and the authority, and agreeing that the term of the lease shall extend so long as the revenue note remains unpaid, and authorization of documents and procedures related to the issuance of the revenue note. Do I have a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll.
McCarron,
Yes.
Yonda,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Alberts.
Yes. Next item, item 6. John, do you want to help with this one? Yes, I do. So should I read the item, or are you going to read the item and the ordinance?
I can read the whole thing. This is the ordinance that's necessary for the purchase, for the loan, for the purchase of the police vehicles. And unfortunately, we have to go through all of this to borrow money, and a requirement is that the ordinance be read, so with your permission, I'll read it.
Please.
The item is an ordinance amending Section 2-137B of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Yukon by determining that certain obligations, including the Yukon Municipal Authority 2017 revenue note in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $380,000, do not exceed debt limitations, repealing all conflicting ordinance provisions and declaring an emergency. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Yukon, Oklahoma, Section 1. The Code of Ordinances of the City of Yukon is hereby amended by amending the existing language of Section 2-137B, which new Section 2-137B is set out in its entirety below, to wit, the following bonds and indebtednesses are conclusively determined to be within and not to exceed the limitations of Section 2-137A or any debt limitation of the Code of Ordinances or the Charter of the City, and any conflicting provisions of the Code of Ordinances of the City are modified to the extent necessary to fully validate the following. Number 1, Yukon Municipal Authority Sales Tax and Utility System Revenue and Refunding Bonds, Series 2012, in the aggregate principal amount of $6,500,000. 2, Yukon Municipal Authority Sales Tax and Utility System Revenue and Refunding Bonds, Series 2013, in the aggregate principal amount of $8,500,000. Number 3, Yukon Municipal Authority Sales Tax Revenue Note Series 2015A in the aggregate principal amount of $9,520,000. Number 4, Yukon Municipal Authority Sales Tax Revenue Note Series 2015B in the aggregate principal amount of $5,805,000. Number 5, Yukon Municipal Authority Revenue Note Series 2015 in the aggregate principal amount of $2,400,000. Number 6, Yukon Municipal Authority 2015A Revenue Note in the principal amount of $4,800,000. Number 7, Yukon Municipal Authority 2016 Revenue Note in the aggregate principal amount of $4,800,000. Page 2. Number 8, and this is the only new item that is being approved, Yukon Municipal Authority 2017 Revenue Note in the aggregate principal amount of $380,000. Section 2, repeal all provisions of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Yukon which are inconsistent with the foregoing are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict it be intended that the foregoing ordinance shall supersede and modify any conflicting provisions contained in the Code of Ordinances of the City of Yukon. Section 3, emergency, where it is necessary for the immediate preservation of peace, health, and safety of the citizens and residents of the City of Yukon, Oklahoma, that the foregoing ordinance be enacted and that the provisions of the ordinance be immediately effective. An emergency is hereby declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval as provided by law.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion?
Need a motion?
I'm sorry. Do I have a motion? Don't leave. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion?
This is certainly well within any of our bounds and everything to be doing these kinds of bonds.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yes, it is. This is a note, but absolutely it is. And everything except the $380,000 item, that's existing indebtedness that's been incurred in years past.
Okay. So this is the only new thing that we've been looking
The
at
only
here.
new thing is the $380,000 borrowing from Yukon National Bank, YMB, for the police vehicles.
Okay.
And I
Thank
might
you.
say a very favorable rate of interest.
Thank you, John.
I might add, this rate is 2%. The Hudeberg Auto rate was 4.75, which was the highest rate we received. So in looking around, even though we did waive competitive bidding, we had other rates that we had checked out. And this is by far the lowest rate, for one thing. Secondly, if you recall in our study sessions on this, the money to pay this note off is agreed on by the Fraternal Order of Police to come out of their pest accounts. And this will come out on the next 3 years, every month or every quarterly, I believe we're making payments, and this will be taken care of. And that's where the money is coming from to pay off this note.
Very good.
Mr. Russell?
Good.
John, just humor me. Explain why we have to go through and read the new ordinance, or why there's a new ordinance that lists all that, the other debt.
Well, I've tried to draft it differently because I would prefer not to have to read all this. But what we would have is we'd have just one dangling item that wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be in context, and this actually goes in the code. And that's why we do it. No.
So it basically wipes the board clean and moves the new item forward, and the new item contains all of our indebtedness.
That is correct.
So it's a housekeeping process that helps us to maintain order.
Well, it's required by the ordinance. It's required by a certain indebtedness ordinance, which is unique to Yukon.
Yeah. It's good that we, and this is something I know the legislature today is examining a bill that would require this of all cities on bonded indebtedness. And I think Representative Jordan is the one that brought this forward. That when you come forward with the bond issue, you would have to show all present debts of the city as far as bonds and where they were utilized that are active, not ones that have been paid off, and the status of which. So this is something that I think Yukon was out front that every time we do something like this, it will notify everybody of all the debts we have and what's pending.
Thank you, sir.
Good public information.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Appreciate it very much. Call the roll, please.
Yonda,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Alberts,
Yes.
Russell.
Yes.
Next item is 6A, and that's consider approval of the emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll.
Russell,
Yes.
Alberts.
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Yonda,
Yes.
Next item is 7, that's consider authorizing the city engineer to advertise bids for the City of Yukon Public Works Department's maintenance facility project in the Yukon Community Support Foundation storage facility located on Ash Street and west of State Highway 4, to be paid from the Yukon Community Support Foundation funds. Do I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll.
Alberts,
Yes.
Yonda,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
The next 3 items have been pulled from the agenda, is that correct?
I believe the council wished that they'd like to have all members present,
Yes.
and therefore it's pulled from the agenda, sir.
So 8, 9, and 10 are pulled.
Yes, sir.
New business, item 11.
No new business tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Item 12, Councilwoman Yonda.
Nothing this evening. Thank you.
Councilman Russell.
Just like always, thank everybody. I'd like to thank everybody for being here and voicing their opinions, and those who's not need to be. Thank you.
Mr. McCarron, do you have an opinion?
I have many,
Let's hear them.
but I don't need to share all of them tonight. So in the absence of that, I do want to say thank you to Ms. Kerska and the folks on them working on the grant we received this evening. And once again, as I usually say, Yukon is a great place. With that, that's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Williams, I appreciate you reading that and saving me, but also I want to, Randy Wright's here from YNB tonight. Thank you for being involved in your community and helping us out with the 2% loan. We appreciate that. That's very helpful, and I want you to know that the council appreciates that. Thank you very much. Erlene is not here this evening because her daughter, Debbie Parker, is having an illness. So if you would keep her in your thoughts and prayers, I know that she would appreciate that. That's why she's not here this evening. And then also, just as a way maybe to go out on a smile, I went to a funeral at Yonda's Saturday before last, and it was Judy Chancellor's. And they asked me to talk, and I had a chance to talk, so it gave me an opportunity to remember about a person who had been involved in this community for a long time and certainly wasn't shy of speaking her opinion. And she helped get some prairie dogs relocated. She tried to save the ducks on many, many different occasions. Trees were important to her, and I said at her funeral, even the poison ivy was important to her. But the cool thing about Judy was no matter whether you agreed with her or disagreed with her, she never gave you too much of a hard time. She spoke her piece, she made her position, but you could always have a good, comfortable conversation with her. I saw her at Groundhog Dinner just this spring at the Methodist Church and sat at her table and has a nice conversation. But Judy was Judy, and it was fun to go to a funeral where there are so many remembrances about a person. She just was who she was. And the one thing that she did is she lived here and she loved this community. She did a lot of things at the Capitol and stuff, but everyone said how much she loved her community. So I just wanted to share with you that she passed, but it was a great celebration and a great tribute to a lady who loved her town. With no other business before the council, we stand adjourned.